This is part 2 of my other video. Okay, I was gonna start doing the one shots next, like the one volume books, but then, oh my god, she's going crazy. Anyway, so I was gonna do the one shots first, but then now that I see I have a lot of one volume books, so I think I'm gonna do the last so I can put them all together in one. So instead of that, I'm gonna make this one, the Daiichi Soul and volumes of uh, just random. Oh my god! And the ones are random novels of the L that I have. I think I only have this. Um, yeah, I think so. This book, not this one. Not this one. Oh no, yeah, this one. This book I bought it because I really like the story. I really like the story of, like, I think this is the one, isn't it? That he had a dream, that he has dreams about the future, and he had a dream about him being in love with a guy that was him, and then he made his whole life. Uh, his whole life started studying and like building himself up to be manly, so like he could not think about him and the dream of him being in love with him. But then once in high school, he came to school and he introduced to him, and then his whole life went upside down because he knew he was gonna fall in love with him, and then he told him. So he told him that he dreamed of him being in love with him. So he told him so that he could like separate from each other. But then that only made him curious about him, and then he fell in love with him, and they fell in love together. Anyway. Anyway, so this is a really good book. I really loved it. I recommend it. If you love Yaoi, I recommend you to read this book. It's a really old story. It's by one of the authors of Love Stage. But I mean, I like Love Stage, but I think Love Stage was really cringy. But it was cute for women. I think Love Stage was mainly focused for women, because if you're a guy and you read Love Stage like me, I'm a guy who read Love Stage. I liked Love Stage, but I did not love Love Stage, and even the anime was like really cringy for a guy. I think it was more like woman based, like only for women to read it or watch it. But this one was okay. This one was like anyone can read it, like male or female. Yeah, it's not targeted to just one person. It was a really cute story, and I really loved it. So yeah, read it if you like. And then I bought I only bought these ones. Where is it? There's another one. I just dropped all my books. I bought these ones because it was only illustrated by the same author. Not this one. This one. Daiichi, yeah. These two novels were illustrated by the same author, Daiichi, the one that made one of the people who made Love Stage. But the story is not by her; it's by somewhere else. She just made some of the illustrations in the book, and that's the only reason why I bought it. I did read it, and it was okay. It wasn't like it wasn't the best book ever. It was just like a yaoi book, you know. And yeah, and I bought it. I also bought it only because at that time I was like really into BL and I wanted to read more BL. So I was happy that they published it, and with my pocket money I bought it. And the same with this book. I only bought it because it was BL. I didn't even know there were another 2 books or 3 books. Something about this guy lost his memory or something. I don't like that story. If you want it, I can sell it to you. I think it's already out of publish. Out of publish. I keep saying that. Out of print. I think it's already out of print. And I think it sells for quite a bit of money. I think this one or a different volume of this one, or maybe like the same book, but not the same author, but a different book. It's the one that sells for a bit of money. But I only bought this because I was really into BL back then. But when I read it, I didn't like it, and then I wanted to sell it, but not many BL fans. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's all of that. What do I go for next? So these are the books that only have 2 volumes, the first book and the sequel, and that's it, nothing more. I love this story. False Memories. I love this author. Whatever she makes, any book that she makes, she's the same author of something Paradox, Love Paradox, I think it's called. What's her name? Isaka Natsume. I love this author. She's really good. All her work is really, really good. When I saw False Memories online, I didn't read it online. I saw it online. The book being published online in Book Depository. Because every time I used to go when I was younger, I used to go in Book Depository and I used to like search Yaoi and then just read whatever was published on like my published date. And I saw volume 1, so I bought volume 1 and then it never arrived. So I messaged Book Depository telling them that my volume 1 didn't arrive. It had been like 4 months and it didn't arrive. So they sent me a new one and it arrived. But then a month later, the one that I asked for, the one that I bought, it got lost in the mail, it arrived. So I had 2 copies of this, volume 1. But yeah, the other copy I just gave it away to a friend as a gift. So I have 1 volume and then I read the second volume. It's really good. I don't remember what it was about, I just know that it was really good. Then the other two shots that I have, where is it? I had it, it's right here. Apple and Honey. Apple and Honey. I don't remember the story, I just remember that I loved it so much. So much. And I hope I can read it. I think maybe I'll read it again tonight. And I don't have time. What time is it now? I don't know what time it is. It's 7 o'clock. And I'm not even done yet. I'm probably like 10% done. And I need to cook and I haven't eaten. I have to take a shower. I haven't taken a shower. I have to wash my hair. Look, so messy. What was I? Oh yeah, but I remember this book. I remember falling in love with it. I loved it so much. This author, what's her name? What's her name? Hideyoshiko. She has some work that is labeled trigger warning. I think this one might be fine. I think this is fine. But the story was really sweet. I remember the story being really sweet and wholesome. Something about this guy being gay and this guy falling in love with this guy, but he was straight, I think. I don't remember. I don't remember which one is first. I think this one is first. Apple and Honey is first. His Rose-Colored Life. I think this is the second one. But this is 16 plus and this is 18 plus. But her work, I've read other of her stories. Most of her stories are already translated in English, but online. And I love her work. I really love her work. I love her art. Her stories are really nice, really like wholesome. Again, it was meant to be a one shot because it also has like a couple. I think it has another one shot, or a couple of one shots. Let me see the content. Yeah, it has the main story and it has another one shot. It was meant to be a one shot, but then I think it's a she. But then she made a second story, a sequel. And yeah, I love the story. It was like so wholesome. It was so cute. So put it there. I recommend you to read it. Read it. Apple and Honey. One of my favorite books ever. And the last 2 volumes manga that I have is this one. This one of my favorites. I recommend people to read it, but only if you're an adult. Not because like it has adult content. Not because it has adult content, but because the storyline is very much for like an adult point of view. Like if you haven't been at least your late 20s, like 27, 26 to onwards, unless you haven't been there, unless you haven't like experienced life at the moment, you wouldn't really like it as much. And I know some people don't like it, but this is more like a I think this is more of a gay book. Like if you are gay, or like you are like fully into like, not if you're not really, if you're into BL, only BL, and that's all you see all your life, you probably won't like this. But if you're into like gay in general, like if you are gay or in the LGBT community, and you don't, and BL is not the only thing you read, is you also have read like literature, or like read or watch movies, like blah blah, or like your life, you're surrounded by gay people most of the time, um, and you live life as an adult, you know, maybe you'll really like this. I read this when I was probably 22 or something, and like I by that time I had already read a lot of yaoi, like a lot of yaoi, and I also like, my friends are gay, and I mean I'm not. I don't think I'm pretty sure if people see me as they think I'm fully gay, but to be honest, I don't really care about labels. And I keep saying that because like it's not like I don't like women. I like women. I'm not coming out there, okay? It's not. This is not the point of this video. My point is like I don't care about labels. Like as long as I'm happy with anyone. I don't want to stop myself liking someone just because it's not right, you know. And but yeah, most of my life I've been like I've been raised with like only gay friends. Like all of my friends are gay. All the people I know are gay. My best friend is a lesbian. I used to go clubbing. Every time I went clubbing, I went to a gay club, because all my friends went to a gay club. So that's the only place and also it was the only place I felt comfortable in, because I have, when I was younger, I have a much feminine face. But now it doesn't look that like cute. But when I was younger, I was like had a very feminine face, and I had long hair. So I used to go. I went to like stray clubs, and it was like very toxic. It was very toxic, and I didn't feel very comfortable in there, because I keep getting hit on by different guys, and then they will be like, and then they will like find out that I'm a guy, and then they were like very rude, and so I never again. I only went there twice, and then after that I just went gay clubbing, and it was so much more comfortable for me because of how I looked, and there was no prejudice. Anyway, this is not a story. I'm just comfortable who I am. Okay, that's it. And if I'm with a woman or with a man in the future, that's really up to me to decide. At this point, I'm being single all my life, so at this point, I don't think I'll be with anyone really. Anyway, so what was the point of this? Of me saying that if you're like in the LGBT community in general and an adult, you will enjoy this book more. If you are only into yaoi and nothing else, only yaoi and BL, then you'll like it, but you won't understand it. You'll just think it's like meh, you know. Why? Because there's a story about these two university friends. They met in university, but he was in love with him, and he didn't know he was in love with him until later in life, when he already got married and he got divorced, and they found each other again. And it's a lot of text. There is a lot of like, I think this last one, the last is really thick compared to the first one, because this is like it goes into detail, you know, like very dramatic. It's like they have their last conversation was of them drinking coffee or something, and that story went like on for like pages and pages, just them talking. But the story was like so there, and the little details in the background, like the ashtray, or the coffee being reheated, or like their last kiss. Those little details are what make it like, you know, worth it. Because this guy is not really gay. He's more like a pansexual, or maybe like bi. But he can't help but love him more than anything in this world. And yeah, the very last volume, when that girl was like, had you been here 10 minutes ago, you would have met my parents. And he like, and then at that moment he's like, I'm sorry, but we have to break up, because before that he was only 10 minutes late, because he was like, you have to read the book. If if you are into LGBT adult stuff, this is one of the best. This is my favorite. I don't know if they made a live action version. I don't know who they will make. Actually, they did. They did make a movie of this. The movie was okay. It wasn't that good. But yeah, that's one of my favorite books, and that stays there. Okay, now that I put and I arranged all my stuff in there, let's go to the next one. This one first. Loveless. You know Loveless. We all know Loveless. I don't have to talk about Loveless. I only have one book because I wanted to get one at least. And this I bought when I was like, I was what, 14. I bought this in a second-hand shop because I love the story. I study anime, and yes, I know about a trigger warning, but I've already been like desensitized by all trigger warnings. So yeah, I love the story, and I love. It was romantic, but it was like, I don't know how to explain it. I just really like the story, and I know that the author like dropped it. He or she went to I'm pretty sure it's a she because most BL actors, I mean, BL authors are women. But I think she dropped it for a while when she went in hiatus, and then later on she started making more volumes, more chapters. And I think right now it's 2012 is in hiatus again. Because last time I read a chapter of them was a long time, like a couple of years ago. I had just like probably a year or so after I graduated high school. I think I saw like the few new chapters, and then I didn't see anything about them again. This is Loveless, and I was so shocked, like a spoiler alert, but I was so shocked to find out that the brother was actually still alive, and that he didn't know that the brother was still alive, but I think the brother is evil now. Anyway, you know Loveless. I don't have to go into details about Loveless. I have the book. I'm not gonna sell it or anything. I'm just gonna keep it. I don't think I'm gonna buy most of it because the author is like on and off, so I don't want to like buy it and then have like 10 volumes and then the drop would be like, I'm dropping it and I'm not doing it anymore. I know it's a lot of stress for the author, for an author to draw. I understand if they drop the art, they drop the volume, they drop the story because they just feel run out of storylines or whatever. I don't think they can keep up with it anymore, so just drop it. I understand that. I'm okay with that. But if I already bought like 10 volumes of it and they dropped it, it's annoying. But I understand. And I don't wanna buy any more volumes of Loveless because I don't know if she's ever gonna finish a story, So I just read it online, whatever. Anyway, this is my one and only Yuri book that I have. It's Strawberry Panic. To be honest, back in high school, my best friend, she was bi because she found a lot of she said she was bi because a lot of the anime guys were very hot to her. But later in life, she just said she was gay. She was lesbian. No, she was everyone starts bi. From what I know, everyone starts bi. And they did. Well, back when I was a kid. How old am I? I'm 28 right now. I'll be 29 next month. So nowadays, like you come out as gay or trans or lesbian or whatever right away. But back in my high school days, you come out as bi or pansexual, and and it was all of my friends came out as bi, all of them back in high school, even if they weren't gay. Like they just say they were bi because they found the same sex attractive, but they didn't think it was sexually attractive, just attractive. But it was normal for us. I had a really good group of friends. That's what I meant. Anyway, so my best friend, she's a lesbian now, but back then she was bi, and then she introduced me. She's the one who introduced me to Yuri, because that's her thing. She used to read Yuri only, and she introduced me to Strawberry Panic, and I saw the anime, and that's when I was really into Yuri. And when I started liking gay manga, I didn't really start with Yaoi. I started with Yuri. So because my friend is the one that she would give me all these Yuri to read. So Strawberry Panic was the first one that I liked. When I saw the book, I bought the book. I read it once. The story is okay. It's meh. The anime is okay. It's fine. It's not like out of this world. But then after that, I discovered Yaoi, and then that's the only thing I've read all my life. Since I was 15, I think 14, 15. I don't remember the time, the years. But since then until now, Yaoi is the only thing I read, and Yuri was, and this one was probably the first and the last. First because it was the first anime, and the last book, and the last because it was the last manga, the last Yuri manga that I ever read. And then after that, I didn't read anymore because it's not my scene. The thing with Yuri, I call me hypocrite or whatever, and consider I'm wrong or whatever, but the thing with Yuri and Yaoi is that I'm a boy. You know, I'm sometimes I don't look like it, sometimes you may not think I am, but I'm very comfortable when I say that I am a boy. I know I'm a boy, I'm a man. And whenever I read Yuri, even though most Yuri is written by men, I think so, because Yaoi is mostly written for women, by women. But anyway, so the thing with Yuri and Yaoi is that whenever I read Yuri, I don't get it because it's two women together. No, I don't mean, relax. I don't mean that's like two women together is wrong and I don't get why they're together. No, I don't mean that. I mean like woman's romance, like a woman's feelings. I don't get it, like, because I'm not a woman, so I don't understand why she does this or that, or why she feels like this. Because I don't relate, I don't connect with the character because we're not the same. We don't have the same feelings. We don't have the same heart, I guess. Because I'm a man and she's a woman, and so whenever in Yuri, it's a lot of like female feelings. And I try to read it, but I just can't read it. I can't get into it. But whenever I see a man, whenever I see a Yaoi, I feel more connected to the characters because like we have the same problems, you know, like be it male problems or be it like problems out in the open. I relate most to them because they're men, so I relate to them because we're men. Both of us are men. But because of Yuri, I don't relate that much on feelings or like how people see us, because I know that people may see a lesbian couple together and think a different way than when they see a gay couple together, or people may see a woman and they think about that person in a different way than when they see a man. And also like men, like me, I have long hair, pretty face, and that's usually not acceptable. And when a woman has short hair and is boyish, she's just cool, you know. It's mainly acceptable. She will get this by some people, but it's mainly like, oh yeah, she's cool, you know. But if a guy has long hair, a pretty face, he's straight away gay, you know. And I have been bullied by it a lot, but I was born with this face. I can't do anything about my face. I don't even like my face, you know. Anyway, so that's why I'm not into Yuri, because I just don't relate to the feelings, and I like Yaoi more because I connect to the characters more, and that's why I don't like Yuri. I don't dislike it. I'm not into it. If I tried it, I'm just not into it. Okay, next thing. I'll cut now because I want to have a small break. I'll cut it. For you, it'll be nothing, but I'll have a small break, and then I'll be back in a second. Okay. Okay. So I'm refreshed. I had my water. I had a little bit to eat. I'm starving. I want to finish this before I eat. So yeah, I want to finish this first before. Otherwise, if I don't finish it now, I will never do it. Okay. I'm hungry. I have to. I don't know if you see it, but I have to do my dishes, and because I live alone, so I only have two sets of plates. So I mean 2 plates, 2 forks, 2 spoons, 2 knives, 1 pot, 3 fry pans. That's all I have because it's just me alone. So whenever I cook something, I have to wash it afterwards if I want to use it again. That way I don't have too many plates together. It's just one person anyway. And I only have the one extra just in case I have like friends over, a friend over, and I cook for them and I want to. Anyway, so I had to do all that and I don't feel like doing it. But I'm really hungry and I should probably buy food, but I don't want to buy food because I already spent so much money on buying food and buying this. So I'm trying to save money so I can go to Japan next year or at the end of the year, which I will make a video of it. I'm planning once Japan is open. I'm definitely going to Japan. That's a must. I definitely will go. So I'm planning on like making a video of like how I plan my trip to Japan as an Australian citizen. Because when I first went to Japan, I didn't know anything about it, and I just was trial and error. So now I want to share what I learned. Anyway, that's in the future. That's nothing to do with now. Today we're talking about this. Okay. So the last volume of 2 volumes that I bought, the last story with only 2 books, the last Yaoi, the latest Yaoi of only 2 books, 2 volumes that I bought, and it's only 2 volumes and that's it, was this one. I don't know anything about the story. I have not read the story. However, the author Kotetsuko Yamamoto. My cat is playing with my toy. Hey, stop it! This is expensive. That's a collectible. Don't play with that. You break it, then I won't have it. I don't have anywhere else to buy it. Anyway, what I was saying, yeah, the author Kotetsuko Yamamoto. I love her work. Every work that I've read of her, chef kiss, every single one. I only read their stories online. One of my favorites. My favorite is the one about the monk. I stopped reading it because when I started it, it was still going, and I think now it's complete, but it hasn't been fully translated, so I haven't read it. But I found these books online. I didn't even know that they published this book, Toritan. So I had to buy it. I just had to buy it because I love the author and I know that whatever book she makes is gonna be really good. So I have not read this yet. Tell me if it's good. I will read it eventually because this is my bookshelf, and later you'll see some books that I have not read yet, and I only bought them because like I wanted to make it. Oh my god. Anyway, I only bought more books because I saw this. I talked about her the TikTok page BL Lover something, and I saw her. Oh my god, Hime, what do you want? She's just playing with the box. That's all she's doing. Anyway, so I saw her collection and I was like inspired by her to try to at least buy every book that I liked. I was gonna say love, but I didn't say like. I was gonna say like. I was inspired by her to buy the books that I wanted, that I could, because when I was younger, I couldn't buy this many books because I had no job. I was a student, and then I had no job for years, and now I have a job, and I have the money to buy useless things like this. Well, to me, it's not useless, but for more people, it's useless. Whenever a friend comes over and sees all my stuff, they always think it's useless, but to me, it's like, but to me, it's like what makes me happy, and it's like a stress reliever, because my work is really stressful at a bakery, and I don't even get paid enough for that. I like the job, but I don't get paid for it most of the time. Anyway, so this is like a stress reliever. So thanks to her, she gave me the encouragement to start my own little bookshelf of BL only, and only BL that I really like, because I don't have that much money to spend that much on that many things that she has. She has like an amazing. Her library is a dream for BL fans. Anyway, so she gave me the encouragement to buy most of the stuff that I saw that I really like, the cover of, and then I read really good things about it, so I bought it and I haven't read it yet. I just see it later. But this one, I bought it because I know the author and I really love the author. So it was either this volume or this volume, but they only had one left, and I saw it and I just had to buy it and I bought it. Next one I'm doing is one of my favorite authors ever. One of my first authors as well. One of the first authors that I got into. Takanaga Hinako. Takanaga Hinako Sensei, she has some very good art, some very good stories. When I was starting to read BL, I read like all of her stories that she had published by then. The first one that is already out of print, they don't sell it anymore, is I forgot the name, but you know the tyrant falls in love. The tyrant falls in love is a spin-off of another story, where the guy, the tyrant, the guy with the ponytail, his brother is the main guy, and that was the first story that I've ever read. Then after that, I really liked the storyline of the tyrant, and then Takanaga Hinako Sensei, she published the Tyrant Falls in Love spin-off, and it's still going until now, I think. And yeah, that's a book that many people find controversial, but I liked it. Okay. If you're a man, you wouldn't really understand why I liked it. But yeah, but it was a really good story. So those two books are like the first books that I read from her, and then I read like a lot of her stories. I went by publisher and I read all her books that were published. I mean, that were translated, that were published. And this is the first book that I bought from her. That I did not read. I did not read online because I didn't see it online. But this is the first book that I ever read. I ever bought from her. It's called The Little Butterfly. This is the omnibus edition, so it has 3 volumes, I think. Three volumes. I think it's 3 volumes. But yeah, this is a story about this kid who has a very rough childhood. His parents abusive, and then this kid, he's a happy-go-lucky kind of guy, and they met and they fall in love. So yeah, this is a very wholesome story. There is not much trigger warnings, just a little bit with abuse, like home abuse, not like abuse, right? It is abuse, is what I'm saying. But it has a little bit of trigger warning. It's not too bad. But yeah, it's a really good story. Takanaga Hinako's works are always 10 out of 10. So if you want to read it, you can read it online, because I don't think they sell this book anymore. That's one of my favorites, and that's one of my. But it's actually quite, I think this is one of the first books that I bought myself. Yeah, I think this is like one of the first books that I bought myself, because I told my stepmom that I really liked manga. I really wanted to buy this book. I didn't even tell her what it was, and she said, "Okay, fine, just give me the money and I'll buy it online." She bought it from Book Depository, and then I got it, and it was cute. And then later I asked her for more books, and that's when she found out they were gay books. She didn't care; she was fine with it. She didn't know what's inside. She didn't know that some of them were like R18, but she knew they were gay. But she didn't care. She just bought it. She still is. She's my second mom. You know, they're really separated from my father, but she's still my mom for me. My second mom. Okay, so this is another story. A capable man, really good. I don't remember what it was. I think he wanted to find his perfect man. Oh my god, what are you doing? What have you done? Oi, my cat is going crazy. You know what? Give me a second. I'm gonna turn off the fan because I can see it now that she's gonna burn everything. I'll be back in a second. And now we're quiet. My cat is gonna make more noise. Hopefully you can hear me properly now, because I don't know. I have not seen the footage of before, so I don't know if you can hear my voice. Hopefully you can hear my voice before. Anyway, it was a capable man, a story of a guy. He wants his capable man, and he finds out that he is his capable man. He falls in love, they fall in love. It's really sweet, pretty cute, and it has a couple of one shots at the end. Uh, yeah, one of them is one of them was an S&M kind of thing. And it was really good. I bought it because it was Takanaga Hinako, and whenever you see Takanaga Hinako's name in something, you know it's really good. Another one shot stories that I have from her. I'll talk about this one last because that broke me. Anyway, so this one is Love Round. It's about this really weakling, this kid that he thinks he has a very slim body and he's like feels really weak. So he starts doing boxing so he can build up some muscle. But then he meets this guy and he falls in love with him because he has his ideal body. And yeah, it's a really cute story. I loved it and it was really funny too. And I bought it because it was obviously Takanaga Hinako Sensei's book. This one, The Devil's Secret, is also one of my favorite. There's this monk, this priest that falls in love with a devil, not the devil. And it was really cute, and I was like completely in love with him. And yeah, if you wanna read it, Takanaga Hinako Sensei's work is always good. You can never go wrong with it. Now, how to begin to talk about this book? This is Takanaga Hinako's Croquis. I think it's Croquis? Yeah, Croquis. This book broke me. This book, I'm not talking about the main story, eh? First of all, I'm not talking about the main story, I'm talking about the one shot. I can't even look at the first page of the one shot in this book without feeling chopped up, you know, like teary. Why? Okay, first of all, let's talk about the main story. Main story, this guy, he's a drag queen, I think. Or he works as a drag queen. And then he meets this artist. He's a university student. He's an artist and he wants to draw him or something. And then he draws him without genitalia. And then he feels like he only, like, you know, some LGBT issues in some way, an LGBT issue of like identity and sexuality. Anyways, by the end of the at the end of the time, he's like, he feels sorry he didn't draw his thumb there because it was art, not because he didn't want to see it. So the misunderstanding and blah blah blah. Good story. It's funny. It's really funny. Recommended if you like Yaoi, you can read it. You'll like it. But the one and that's a good story. But the one that I'm talking about is about this one. How is it called? I think it's called First Love. On My First Love, and it has two parts. First Love, On My First Love 1, and On My First Love 2. This is a two-shot story, but it's actually a one-shot story. Why? Because it's the same story, but on the perspective of the one guy. So the first story is the one guy, who is this guy, and that's the whole story on his side of view. Like everything happened, about how he has this one-sided love for his friend. I think it's his best friend, or he's just normal regular friend. No, his best friend. It's that one side. I just saw that again. I don't feel good. Anyway, so the first chapter is about his side of the story. It's the whole story from beginning to the time they met again, only seen by his point of view. And then you find out that he has this crush on his best friend, but then it's one-sided, and he feels like he has to get over the relationship, his love for him, because he will never love him back, and then he finds out that a friend starts dating this girl, so he feels heartbroken and blah blah, and then they meet again in the future, and he's getting married with this girl, but he still feels feelings for him, and blah blah. Blah. That's the first story, and that's only his point of view. And then I'm shaking. I'm shaking. I don't wanna. And then that I can do it. I can do it. Because it really, when I said that it broke me, and I read this when I was younger. And this is the first. At first I read the one shot first, and then later on I read the main story, and then I brought the book, I bought the book, and then I found out they were together, and it was like a huge shock because I didn't know. Anyway, so the second story of my first love is exactly the same story, but on the point of view of the other guy. And then you fucking find out that the other friend, he was completely and fully like he was like in love with his best friend as well, but he didn't know that he was in love with him as well. So to him it was also like a one-sided love story. Like he loved him, he desired him, and at one point he was gonna confess to his love to him, but he was so nervous that he ended up throwing up. And on that moment is when he met his future wife, and he only started dating her because she asked him to be his boyfriend, and he thought that he should probably move on from his love. So he started dating her, and they started dating, and then the two stories connect of his point of view and then his point of view, and then but he loved him all to the very end, and then at the very last connection, on the very last page, like he runs for him and he tells him like, I wish we can like stay in contact. How did he say? I don't want to read it. Anyway, I don't remember correctly. I don't want to read it. I never want to read it again, but because I know that it's gonna break me again. But that story is like, and then I see actually maybe I want to move here because maybe I'll post right here a picture of me tweeting the author Takanaga Hinako Sensei about this chapter, because I really wanted to know what happened to them, because I wish they got together. I wish she made a story about them falling out, because she made some stories of other people, the other side characters, like a story, like like the time was in love. That was a difference. Anyway, so I was hoping that she would tell me at least like a little bit about them too, because they were my favorite couple, and they were like, they broke me. and luckily she actually did reply, and I don't understand Japanese, but she brought in, like, translated Japanese, I guess, that broke English. She brought that is up to me, to my imagination of what happened next. So the thing is the story is open for interpretation, which is like a good answer, but also like so I just say, like, you know what, I'm sure they're happy together, because in my mind I hope that they are happy together. Like, I really hope that after that meeting they met again, and then they found in love, that they notice that they still love each other. Anyway, so that's the story. You read it, you don't have to read this one. It's a cute story, it's funny, but really the one that I love the most, and the reason why I kept this book and I treasure this book so much, is because of the one shot that I don't want to talk about, because that's my story, Okay, and after that, Awkward Silence. Takanaga Hinako, that's the last book by Takanaga Hinako that I have. I didn't buy the Time Falls in Love because it's still ongoing, and why didn't I buy it? It had like 14 books, and they were really expensive back then. And right now I don't know how much it is. It was very expensive back then, and so I didn't buy it. And I think she's still going, but it's like a on and off thing, because she has other books that she's making. Anyway, so this is my last one that I have, is Awkward Silence, and I did buy the first 4 books, and I read it, and I thought they only had 4 books, But then I found out it has two more books, and I bought this literally like this year. I bought this year, and so I read the first books, 4 books, and I haven't read the end, and I'm waiting for like the right time to read all of them again because I really love this story. It was really cute. It's about this guy who I was gonna say this gay. About this gay. It's about this guy who doesn't show emotions in his face, but he's a he has a lot of emotion, but he just doesn't show it in his face. And this guy falls in love with him because he finds he is cute. The way he shows his emotions, but he doesn't show it. He finds it interesting, and then the more he sees at him, he finds him cute, and then he falls in love with him. And it's a very, very cute story. I love this story, and I can't wait. I literally can't wait. I know that I can't do it anytime, but I think like literally like me wanting to read it and can't wait, and because I can't wait to read it, it's what makes me not read it. But I can't wait to finish reading. You can even see like how for how long I had it. Like this is the new ones that I bought. This is the old ones that I had. They're yellow, and this is white. But I love this story. If you wanna read it, buy it, buy the book. I think they're still selling the book. But Takaraga Hinako Sensei work, always the best. Buy it, it's the best. Okay, now another one of my favorites is Shungiku Nakamura Sensei's work that she made Juju Romantica, and she made Sekaiichi Hatsukoi. Sekaiichi Hatsukoi is like my most favorite, one of my most favorite mangas of all time. But this is another book that broke me. Happy Child. This is one book that, I mean, it has a problematic one shot or 2 shots, maybe no, 1 shot. I think it has 1 shot that is problematic because of the age, but you don't have to read it. I mean, it's even the story is not even that good. I read it for but the last story, you could say a spin-off because it's like literally the same characters from Jojo Romantica, but in a different storyline, like a different universe, I guess, or maybe they're ancestors from like up to you. It's up to the reader. But the one of the last one broke me. The last one I cried. And when the OVA came out, I just had to watch it and I cried again. So that's a book that is like, I guess like it's quite an old book. I don't think they don't publish it anymore. So it's a June book, you know, that's how old it is. It's by June, and June doesn't publish anymore. They only published like 1 book this year, and they started doing more now. That was from back then. So I bought it because I really love the story. I read it online first, and then I read this, and I looked everywhere for the book. Luckily, I found it because when I first started looking for the book, it was out of print. I keep saying out of publish. Is that even a word? It was out of print, and luckily I found the book, and I paid like $40 for the book. But like the little money I had, my pocket money, and I bought it, and I have it, and I'm happy I have it. And then I have these 2, Juju Romantica. There's the only 2 volumes I have, volume 11 and volume 12, because I was scared of buying more, because you know back then I was too young, and I was so scared. You know what I did? Because this is the first book I bought. I covered the warning of parental advisory. I covered it with a heart, and then at the back, the 18 plus, I covered it as well, so my parents wouldn't see it. So my parents, because I had this on my bookshelf, and I didn't want my parents to see it, because I bought this by myself. Like I went to the bookshop. No, I bought it in there's this anime shop that back then used to be called Freaking Geeks, I think. There are 2 anime shops here in WA that are like most popular. They used to be. It was Empire Toys and Freaks and Geeks back then, a long time ago when I was in high school. Then Freaks and Geeks, they don't sell. They went out of business, and I think they became one with Empire Toys. And Empire Toys is still here. They still sell stuff, but all of the stuff is like bootleg. they're not real. And now that I have money, I don't want to buy bootleg anymore. I only buy real stuff. But back on the days, they used to have manga. They used to sell manga, and real manga. This is a manga, and they had a couple of yaoi books, and I got this one for them, and I paid like $20 or something, 25. So yeah, and I bought it from them, and I didn't tell anyone. I just bought it, and then I was so scared of my parents seeing that it was an adult book that I put that in there. But Ginger Romantica is one of my favorites, and it's still ongoing. And also the art between volume 1 and volume 20 something that is right now, the art has changed so much. It's completely different. Okay, now the book that started my whole collection. What I meant is like not the first book I bought ever, but the first book that I told myself, okay, I want to buy every single book of them, even if the author drops it, I want to have all the books, because I really love the story of Takano and what's his name? I forgot his name, but I really love the story, and I love every single one of them. Do I love them? No, there's one that I don't like, because there's three different stories in the franchise, and I love the main one, and I love these two. I love their story, because as I said before, now I'm more into like a younger top and an older bottom. But this Sekaiichi Hatsukoi, or mostly known as the world's greatest first love. I think this was meant to be a one shot, and then the author liked it and it became popular, so they made more books of it. 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And I know volume 16 is already out in Japan, but it's not out here. And I know that recently they started reprinting these volumes, so they're quite cheap. I bought them all for like $14 in Amazon each. And sadly, I don't have volume 2, 4, and 5. I'm waiting for them to reprint them so I can buy them, and then actually, this is one that I want to read first, all of them, because I only read up to, I think they were only left like 20 days before he falls completely in love with Takano. That's when I stopped reading, because I wanted to know more, and that was like years ago. And then so yeah, this is the first books that I will read once I have completed the volumes that are missing, the first volumes that are missing. Even though I already know what happened. Yeah, this is the first series that I told myself that I would buy every single one of them, even if it's really long, because I really like it. I did think about buying Ginger Romantica, but then I thought, Ginger Romantica doesn't feel like it's gonna end in my lifetime. So I just read this one, and then I bought all of them, so hopefully I managed to have them all. Hopefully the author will finish them all. Okay, now that I'm done with these, I should have Caste or Caste? Heaven. I already talked about this author. Is Ogawa Chise. I love her work. I love her work so much that I already showed you what I printed, and I already showed you what I have. I already showed you what I have on my in Japanese ones. I only bought this because I found out that she already published her 8th volume, and that was the very last one. Because when I first started reading, I only read like the first volume, and I really liked it. It's a lot of trigger warnings, to just one, than many. So read it at your own read it at your own risk. Um, but I love the author, and I know it's gonna be really good. And there is a reason why it's being published, because it's obviously really good. So this is another book that I only read one book, but I know I loved it. So I'm waiting to have all. I know it's finished. I know I loved it, and so I'm waiting to have volume 7 and 8. Volume 7 is already on pre-order. It's coming out in July, I think. So I'm gonna read them all once it's all complete, and I'm waiting for that. So yeah, and then next, will it fit? Yeah, it fit. Next I have is Don't Be Cruel. We already talked about, so Nakota, because I show you the art book. I love this book. I think this is the one that I think it was meant to be only one shot, but then it became popular and she liked the story, so she made a whole thing about it. And he's obviously my crush, my male crush. And yeah, so this is another book that I told myself that I will buy every single one of them, because I really love the couple, how stupid they are. I know that some people do not like this at all because of how it started, because it has trigger warning at the start. I call it trigger warning, but I don't think that's how the people call it. Anyway, that has like a really bad stuff. The relationship started because of something that rhymes with ape. But like the story itself is really good. I love the story. Never mind how it started, but I love the story, and I'm in love with the guy, the main guy. He's my crush. He's my one and only. So yeah, and I know some people don't like the story at all, and some people found it very boring by the end, which I don't know, because I haven't finished the last 7 books. Yeah, I only read up to here. This is the last one I read online, and then I haven't read any of these ones, because by this time it became licensed, so it wasn't scanlated anymore. They dropped it because fans prefer you to pay money and support the author instead of them doing it for free, which I understand completely. So I couldn't read it anymore, and so these books I haven't read. And people say it got boring, but I don't know. It's up to me to decide if it's got boring. I mean, some people don't like it, but I like it, and some people think it's boring, so maybe I won't think it's boring. I don't know. So that's another story I would recommend people to read if you're not easily triggered. Okay, I think that was all of my series, and everything else is one shots. So I'll have a small break to drink a bit of water and have another small bite. It's not white. I have a drink of water and a bite of something because I'm hungry. And to you it won't feel like anything, but for me it's like, I'll see you in a second. Okay. So I was hoping it was gonna be only 2 videos, but it ended up being 3 videos, and this is my second video, and I'll post one more. I will definitely not make more than 3 videos. So the third video is coming next week. Okay, thanks for watching this video, and like and subscribe if you like. And just like I said before, if you've seen any books that you want to know more of, let me know in the comments, and I'll read it, and I'll make a full video about it. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. So see you next week. Bye. Say bye. Bye. Where's the bone? Bye. 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 See ya.